All right. With that feature implemented, it would be a really good idea to do a git commit right here. So let's check our status, git status. All right, so we've got a few modified files. Let's do a git commit. Git add, let's add our component in there real quick. And we'll do git commit -m nodes remain selected after dragging. That works. Okay, cool. Now that we have the selection issue sorted, we can tackle selecting a task should enable the add subtask button. That's over here in, where did we keep that list? That's over here in this guy right here. And we can check this guy off as well. We'll just mark it as done. So there's no simple way of figuring out which node is selected, so we'll keep it simple and we'll use a class built around a timer to just query whether or not anything in the tree view is selected. So we'll go over to our TaskQueue container and we'll do this here. All right, put it above this guy. So let's add a divider and we'll add one there. Okay, here we go. Struct, let's see, we'll just call it a selection monitor and it'll inherit from timer. Now we're gonna need a reference to a tree view to monitor, so let's add that. It's private, remember? Tree view reference, tree view. And we're gonna need something to call when the tree has something selected. So we'll just use an std function for this. Std function void, and the tree can be selected or not selected, so let's give it a boolean as the parameter. So that way we can tell whatever we are calling the state of the tree. Okay, so we'll just call that f. Now let's give ourselves the timer callback. Void timer callback. Override. Oh, let me spell that right. Override. We'll just declare this in class for right now. Now it's pretty simple. If we get supplied a lambda, just call it. And the argument will be a boolean. So for this, we will just check if the tree has any selected items. Get num selected items. And just if it's greater than 0, then there's item selected, so we'll be calling this with a true. Okay, now the constructor is going to be super simple. It's just calling this. It's going to take a reference to a tree view called t, and it's going to take a function, std function. So we'll just copy this, paste it there, change the name a little bit. Now we can initialize our members. Tree view t f gets initialized with the argument right here, std move. All right, and now let's just start the timer. Timer start. Start timer. Start timer. We'll do hertz. 20 times a second. And since we have a timer going, it would make sense to have a timer stop when we are killed. Monitor. Stop timer. Okay, super simple. All right, let's add an instance of our checker to the bottom of the class, to the bottom of our container after our buttons. Std unique pointer selection monitor. And now we can, let's see, go to our CPP file. Go to the CPP file. Put this after the add task button. Now we can initialize it. Selection monitor equals std make unique, and it's an instance of the selection monitor. And we're going to pass it with our tree, and now we can give it a lambda so it has something to do. And we'll capture this. We'll say bool something is selected. Remember, that's the up here, that's this argument, whether or not something is selected or not. We've got this in place. Now we can just do this add subtask button and just set its enabled state. Set enabled something is selected. Okay, let's run it. We should see the add subtask button not work unless something is clicked or dragged or dropped. All right, it's currently disabled. That's excellent. All right, these guys are selected. Click to deselect. Awesome. So we click and drag and it's awesome like that. Fantastic. Okay. So now we can make the add subtask button add a task to whatever is selected. So let's stub out the on click for this. Add subtask button dot on click equals. All right, we're going to capture this. All right, we've got our stub in place. Now we can do a very simple algorithm. We'll start with just getting the selected item from the tree. So if auto TQI equals dynamic cast task queue item tree.get selected item, the first item. If we can grab that, then we can add a child to it. TQI add child, create tree sub task, and we can then set the parent selected. TQI set selected should be selected, and all others should be deselected. All right, let's try it out. All right, let's add a node. Let's add subtask to this guy. Bam! Bam! Okay, rad. Let's drag that there. Let's select this subtask. Very cool. So we can start adding widgets and stuff now that the core functionality is in place in terms of modifying the order of the tree. So let's go to our to-do list and start checking off some items. So we already checked off drag and drop. Doesn't work now the TaskQueue item is being used. That's done. We can check off selecting a task should enable the add subtask button. Done. And need ability to select a task also. Done. Fantastic.